You're not addicted to progress. You're addicted to the feeling of progress. You scroll, you watch, you get inspired, and for a few minutes, you feel unstoppable. Your brain floods with dopamine. You think you're evolving, but the truth, you've just replaced growth with stimulation. We called it self-improvement, but most of the time, it's self-sedation. You're not chasing a better life, you're chasing a better high. Every quote, every podcast, every discipline reel gives you that little rush, the illusion of becoming more without actually changing anything. And the more you consume, the weaker you get, because the moment the dopamine fades, so does your drive. You start needing more noise to feel alive, more videos, more motivation, more fake momentum. That's a trap. Moral self-improvement isn't designed to help you grow. It's designed to keep you hooked. The industry doesn't sell transformation, it sells hope and repeat. And you keep buying because deep down you feel what really growth demands. Boredom, patience, consistency without reward. Really change isn't exciting. It doesn't spark dopamine. It's quite lonely, invisible. It's sitting with yourself when your mind screams for distraction. It's doing the same small things every day, even when no one notices. If motivation is a spark, patience is a fire. And the men who win long term aren't the ones chasing highs. They're the ones building systems, suffering in silence, while everyone else is scrolling for another hit. In this video, we'll break down the dopamine science behind why motivation fades, expose the biggest self-improvement misses, and uncover the mindset shift that lead to real growth, the kind that no algorithm can sell you. Because once you see the trap, you can finally escape it. So grab your cup of coffee. To understand why most people are stuck in fake progress, you need to understand dopamine. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical people think it is. It's not released when you feel happy. It's released when you anticipate something that could make you happy. It's the spark that pushes you toward the reward, not the satisfaction that comes after. Think of it like this. Serotonin is what makes you content once you've eaten. Dopamine is what makes you hunt for the food in the first place. It's the molecule of motivation, not for peace. In your brain, there are two systems, liking and wanting. Liking is about enjoying what you already have, calm, fulfillment, stillness. Wanting is about chasing what you don't have, desire, drive, pursue. Modern life has hijacked the wanting system and turned it into a constant chase. Every ping, every like, every new reel gives you a microdose of dopamine. Your brain lights up as if you've accomplished something, even when you haven't. That's why checking your phone feels urgent, why scrolling feels productive, why watching self-improvement content feels like growth. It mimics the reward system of real achievement without requiring any effort. You watch a reel about discipline and your brain rewards you as if you were disciplined. You read productive hacks and your mind believes you've done something meaningful. But nothing in your life changes because all that energy that should have gone into action gets burned in the illusion of progress. And here's where it gets worse. Dopamine tolerance. The more hits you get, the less sensitive your brain becomes. You need more stimulation for the same feeling. That's why motivational content stops working after a while. You've trained your brain to need louder voices, faster clips, stronger highs. Studies shows that chronic overstimulation depletes your dopamine baseline, meaning your motivation drops, your focus weakens, and your drive to real action collapse. You're not lazy, you're chemically drained. The system isn't built to help you evolve. It builds to keep you chasing. And the longer you stay trapped in that chaos, the further you drift from real growth. Self-improvement isn't the enemy, it's one of the most powerful paths a person can walk. The problem isn't the idea, it's the way it's sold. What started as a movement for discipline and awareness has become a multi-billion-dollar marketplace of hacks, frameworks, and quick fixes. Everywhere you look, there is another promise. A new app to fix your habits. A course that guarantees transformation in 30 days. A system that claims to rewire your brain overnight. And to be fair, many of those tools can help. Books like Atomic Habits or Digital Planner isn't scams, they're frameworks. But when they used as dopamine hits instead of practice guides, they lose their power. We start collecting information instead of applying it. We chase the feeling of progress instead of living it. That's where the trap begins. Your brain rewards you for buying the book, not reading it. For setting the goals, not pursuing them. The anticipation of change releases dopamine, and that chemical rush feels like success. So you stay stuck in prep mode, mistaken planning for progress. Social media algorithms amplifies the cycle. They notice what spikes you, excitement, a before and after, a motivational clip, as 3 steps to success, and feed you more of it. Not because they care about your growth, but because engagement keeps the machine running. I've lived that loop myself. I've bought courses that gathered digital dust, thinking each one would be the breakthrough, and every time I felt productive, until I realized I hadn't moved an inch. True self-improvement doesn't sell well, because it's slow, unglamorous, and internal. It's not about rejecting the industry, it's about reclaiming it, using the tools, not being used by them. Once you see that difference, self-improvement becomes what it was meant to be, a path of becoming, not consuming. Productivity is a new dopamine drug. It wears the mask of progress, but underneath it often feeds the same addiction cycle we've been talking about. We love hacks, to-do list apps, biohacking routines, all designed to make us feel efficient. And for a short while, they work. You start the timer, checking off a few tasks, and your brain lights up with dopamine. It feels good because it looks like progress. But here's the problem. Most of those tools reward you for managing your work, not doing it. You get the satisfaction of control without the challenge of execution. It's like rearranging your desk for 3 hours instead of actually writing the book. Psychology calls this the multitasking illusion. When your brain confuses business with productivity, each small task, each notification, each quick win gives a macrodose of dopamine. Even though multitasking reduces focus and performance, it feels rewarding because you're getting consistent feedback. You're not doing deep work, you're just chasing stimulation. That's also why procrastination feels so powerful. The brain prefers immediate rewards over delaying ones. So when faced with deep, uncomfortable work, it looks for the nearest hit of pleasure. Checking emails, tweaking your workspace, watching another video on how to focus. Ironically, even the so-called dopamine detox has become another dopamine hit. People turn it into a challenge, film it, and post it online, chasing validation for the very thing they're trying to escape. Research in behavioral psychology shows that habits not formed through hacks or motivation spikes, but through repetition under low emotion. Real change happens when the action becomes automatic, not exhausting. Productivity apps aren't the enemy, they're just tools. And tools are only as useful as the hands that hold them. The moment they become your source of dopamine instead of your structure for discipline, you've already lost the game. The reason why most people stay stuck isn't lack of desire, it's believing the wrong myth about transformation. Willpower alone fixes everything. We glorify mental toughness like it's a superpower. But the truth is, even the strongest will eventually break if the environment works against them. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself through chaos. It's about building systems that makes progress the default. Real strength isn't in pushing harder, it's in designing a life that makes the right action easier. Growth is linear and visible. It's not. Progress compounds quietly. Most of your biggest leaps happen when it looks like nothing's happened. When you're consistent through boredom. When you keep showing up after the motivation dies. True growth is invisible until it isn't. Like bamboo that spends years growing underground before it even breaks the surface. More motivation equals more progress. In reality, chasing constant motivation burns you out. Neuroscience shows that dopamine spikes during anticipation, not completion. The more you rely on motivation to start, the less reward your brain gets from finishing, which is why you quit halfway. The real shift happens when you stop depending on motivation and start depending on routine. History proves it. The greatest minds didn't rely on dopamine hit. They rely on grit, the ability to keep working when the world saw no results. Edison tested thousands of filaments before investing in the light bulb. Seneca wrote about calm and patience while living through political chaos. They didn't hack their way to success, they endured their way there. Because real transformation isn't a moment, it's a long, quiet process of becoming, one decision at a time. Real growth isn't exciting, it's repetition, consistency, showing up when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when no one's watching, doing the same simple habits every day until they become part of who you are. It's boring, and that's exactly why it works. Because boredom isn't the enemy, it's the training ground for deep focus. When you stop running from it, you start mastering it. That's where you build habits that don't rely on dopamine, they rely on identity. But we live in a world that edits out the silence. Montage culture shows you the highlight reel, not the process. You see the glow up, not the grind. The transformation, not the years of invisible progress behind it. In reality, growth looks more like compound interest. Tiny, unnoticeable deposit of effort that multiplies over time. You won't feel the progress day to day, but one day it will hit. You will realize you've become the person you used to pretend to be. That's real self-improvement, not fast, not glamorous, but real. The goal isn't to move faster, it's to move longer. To trade speed for sustainability. To stop asking how can I grow faster and start asking how can I stay consistent when it's not fun? Because in the end, discipline outlasts motivation, and the men who win aren't the ones chasing highs. They're the one who can keep walking when the path gets quiet. If dopamine is the trap, then delayed gratification is the way out. It's simple in concept, choosing the reward of the future over the pleasure of the present, but powerful enough to separate the successful from the stuck. Psychologists proved this decades ago through the marshmallow test. Children were left alone with one marshmallow and told they could eat it now, or wait for 15 minutes and get two. Some waited, most didn't. Years later, researchers followed up. The kids who resisted temptation scrolled high on SATs, had better health, and showed stronger emotion control. The conclusion was clear. Those who could delay gratification didn't just perform better, they live better. And that principle hasn't changed. Modern studies shows that adults who can delay gratification save money instead of spending it, study instead of scrolling, training instead of giving in, achieve higher income, better relationships, and great life satisfaction because patience sharpens perspective. It gives you power over impulse. In a world built on instant rewards, patience is rebellion. Every time you resist a quick hit, you rewire your brain for strength. You stop letting dopamine dictate your direction. You start building real control, not over your environment, but over yourself. That's what true self-improvement demands. Not a new hack, but a new relationship with time. To stop chasing what feels good now and commit it to what builds value later. When you save money instead of buying that dopamine rush, you're training your brain. When you choose to read instead of scrolling, you're sharpening your future. When you put in the reps after motivation fades, you're proving to yourself that you run the system, not the other way around. Patience doesn't look exciting, but it's undefeated. It builds things dopamine can't, and quiet dominance. Because the men who master patience don't just get what they want, they become the kind of man they can hold it when it arrives. Awareness is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you act differently. Escaping the dopamine trap isn't about rejecting pleasure, it's about reclaiming control. And here's how to do it. Step 1. The 30 days dopamine detox. For the next 30 days, remove or drastically limit quick hit dopamine sources. Endless scrolling, junk food, mindless video, and constant notification. Those are the digital candy of the modern age. Sweeten the moment, empty afterward. Replace them with slower, richer rewards. Reading long-form books, going for walks without your phone, listening to podcasts that teach you something new. The goal isn't to live like a monk, it's to rewire your brain to enjoy effort again. After a week, you will notice something subtle. Silence stops feeling boring, your focus sharpens, you begin to feel alive without constant stimulation. Step 2. Build patient habits. Once your brain starts to calm down, it's time to train it for endurance. Practice single tasking. Do one thing at a time, with full attention. Writing, reading, lifting, working. Extend how long you stay with each task before switching. Mindfulness helps too. Spend 10 minutes each day observing your thoughts without reacting. Over time, your mind stops chasing every impulse. Use journaling to track invisible progress. The wins that don't show up on metrics, but compound quietly. Better focus, less anxiety, more presence. This practice reinforces discipline without external rewards. Step 3. Empowering. Reframe rewards. Don't element reward, upgrade them. Instead of scrolling after a workout, call a friend, or enjoy a walk in nature. Instead of buying something impulsively, set a saving milestone and reward yourself when you hit it. You can even use accountability tools or apps, but mindfully. They should support your focus, not hijack it. Better yet, join a community of people who share your vision. Accountability amplifies consistency. You will crave the old hits. That's normal. Your brain's writing doesn't change overnight. When the urge hits, pause, take a deep breath, ask, what I'm really avoiding right now? That question often exposes the real work waiting beneath distraction. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness, discipline, and freedom. Training your mind to serve you, not the other way around. You can't fight dopamine with discipline alone. You need something stronger, direction. When your actions aren't tied to a deeper purpose, every distraction feels meaningful because you're starving for meaning. But once you anchor your life to something that matters, a mission, a vision, a craft, cheap dopamine loses its power. Think about it. The people who stay consistent for years aren't the one with the strongest willpower. They the one who know why they doing it. Purpose transforms discipline from a burden into devotion. Start by asking what kind of man I want to become. What impact do I want to have through my work? What would I be proud to build even if no one noticed for years? When you have real answers to those questions, you stop chasing pleasure and start pursuing meaning. The reward shifts from feeling good now to becoming someone good later. Once you reconnect with your why, structure your days around it. Align your habits with your mission. If your goal is to become a great writer, make reading, thinking, and creating your core ritual. If your mission is to master your body, build your schedule around training and recovery. Purpose gives structure to patience. It tells you what to endure for. Finding purpose in the process. Most people delay meaning until the finish line, but the secret is to find purpose in the process. The small actions. Waking up early, showing up when it's hard, saying no to comfort, those are not side notes, they are the mission. Each one forges you into the man you said you would be. Distraction will try to pull you out of track again. That's why reconnecting with your purpose must become a daily ritual. Through journaling, prayer, meditation, or simply reflection. Remind yourself, this is who I am. This is why I'm doing it. When purpose fails your mind, dopamine loses its grip. You no longer need constant hit of pleasure because the past itself becomes satisfying. That's the real escape, not from dopamine, but from emptiness. You don't just delay gratification, you replaced it with meaning. And meaning, unlike dopamine, doesn't fade. It builds you. You don't need more dopamine, you need direction. You don't need more hacks, you need hunger for meaning, mastery, and truth. The real reward isn't the rush you get after a perfect morning routine or a viral post. It's waking up months later realizing you've become someone solid. Someone who doesn't flinch when life tested him. Someone who no longer needs external validation to feel alive. That's what freedom feels like. Not excitement, but peace. Not stimulation, but stability. Most people never get there because they quit when the highs fade. They chase the next motivational spike, the next system, the next illusion of control. But the man who endures, who keeps showing up when no one's watching, who finds satisfaction in the work itself, he becomes unbreakable. That's what the real dopamine detox is really about. Not cutting out pleasure, but reclaiming control over it. Not escaping the modern world, but mastering your place within it. You stop needing the hit because you've built a higher baseline, peace, focus, and self-respect. You don't chase energy, you are energy. You don't chase discipline, you've become disciplined. And one day, you look back at the man you were, addicted to instant gratification, always chasing highs, and you realize he wasn't weak, he was just lost. And now, you've found your way back. Back to passion, back to purpose, back to yourself. Because in the end, the real reward isn't dopamine, it's becoming the man who no longer needs it. If there is one truth to take from this, it's this. You don't need more motivation, you need less dependence on it. Real growth isn't built, it's burst of inspiration. It's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching. When you choose discipline over distraction, patience over instant payoff. You're not broken, you're struggling to stay focused. You've just been conditioned to crave quick results. In a world built to keep you hooked, the system profits when you chase instant dopamine, but your soul thrives when you learn to delay. Every time you sit through boredom, finish a task without checking your phone, or read a page instead of scrolling, you're rewiring your mind for freedom. That's how transformation happens. Not through hacks or viral motivation, but through small, steady, boring consistency. If this message hit home, make sure to like the video and comment your own experience with escaping the dopamine trap. What's been hardest for you and what's worked? So, see you in the next one. Peace.